Jason Miller, senior advisor to President Trump. Jason, how does the campaign see it? Is there any difference between running against Joe Biden or any other one of the radicals they may try to replace him with?
Not really. As you mentioned out in your monologue there, Joe Biden, you have the weakness and incompetence. With Kamala Harris, you have the weakness, the incompetence, but also the radical liberalism. And whereas Joe kowtows to all the liberals in California, Kamala Harris is actually a card-carrying member. But taking a step back, we saw the speech earlier today. Those clips are bad, and now these additional clips from ABC are even worse. Mark, I don't understand what Joe Biden's team is doing. Clearly, his weakness is speaking. Okay, that seems to be an important thing if you're going to be president of the United States. So his team thinks that they can solve it by having him do more speaking. I don't get this at all. The one thing where I do get concerned, Mark, is for all this talk about Joe's incompetence, we're really losing sight of the plot that on day by day, we're having thousands and thousands of illegals pour across our border. People are suffering. The unemployment rate is going up. As we saw numbers today, people are dying in Ukraine and being attacked by terrorists via Hamas in Israel. And this whole world's gone to hell ever since Joe Biden took over.
You know, one of the things, it seems like the Democrats are finally starting to catch up with this idea. We see Democrat Senator Mark Warner from Virginia is reportedly working to assemble a group of other Democrat senators to ask Biden to leave the race. Anonymous sources actually telling the Washington Post the Virginia senator has told others that he is deeply concerned Biden is not able to run a campaign that could beat the former president. But really, I mean, shouldn't he then not even be the president?
Yeah, you make a great point. And by the way, Mark Warner, chairman of the Senate Intel Committee, okay, if you're the chairman of the Intel Committee and you cannot tell that Joe Biden is cognitively impaired 3.5 years into his presidency, you shouldn't be in that spot. I just got to be on the level with you. But you're exactly right. If Joe Biden is too incompetent to run for re-election, that means he's too incompetent to be president of the United States now. Now, of course, Mark, you've been out there saying this. I've been saying it. Newsmax has been saying it. The entire world has seen what's going on with Joe Biden. But for all these Democrats, whether it be Mark Warner or even in the mainstream media, if I kind of repeat myself, they were all complicit in the cover-up.
So now the big story is that they think that Kamala Harris would be tougher for Donald Trump to beat than Joe Biden. But there's a new poll from Harvard Harris that says the exact opposite. I mean, what are you seeing internally in the campaign?
Yeah, every piece of data that I'm seeing says that President Trump would defeat Kamala Harris by an even bigger margin than he beat Joe Biden. President Trump is going to win either way, so I'll give you some comfort in that. But this is where the liberals just don't think things through. They all come out and say Joe Biden needs to get out of the race. We need to go with Kamala Harris. And none of them run any polling to realize that Kamala Harris loses by an even bigger margin. They're in real trouble.
You know, and to make matters even worse, the New York Times, of all people, is now reporting Biden recently told Democrat governors he needs more time to sleep and won't be scheduling events at night after 8 p.m. I mean, when the governor of Hawaii reportedly asked Biden about his health, Biden replied that his health was just fine, saying, quote, "It's just my brain." I mean, how can you run for president when your quote is, "It's just my brain"?
Well, you know, Mark, forget about the 3 a.m. phone call. I don't think Joe Biden can take the 3 p.m. phone call in the middle of the afternoon. And even look at tonight where we're waiting Biden's interview to run with George Stephanopoulos at the top of the hour here. And Joe can't even stay awake to watch his own interview. This is not good.
You know, one last thing I know, as you guys are closing in on making a decision and the president announcing who his vice presidential pick is, vice president, especially on the Democrat side, could be a very important spot. A vote for Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris. I mean, is that something that you're going to be looking at in not only in President Trump's pick, but also as, you know, as you move the campaign forward?
Yeah, great question. And you touched on some of this in your monologue as well when you talked about Joe Biden's terrible record and that Kamala Harris owns that record just as much. Don't forget, Kamala Harris was the border czar. As comical as that sounds. It's not comical because we've had millions of people come across, almost 20 million people. Kamala Harris was sent to Ukraine, and 4 days later, Putin invades. I mean, everything that Kamala Harris touches goes poorly. And so whoever the Democrats bring in, it's going to be someone who is complicit in the cover-up. It's going to be someone who's going to inherit that same terrible policy that Biden and Harris have had. And I don't think there's anything they can do to turn this thing around.
Jason Miller, senior advisor to Donald Trump. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you in Milwaukee next week.
Thanks, Mark.